Times change. That is a universal truth with the passage of this ever-precious aspect of the universe, both in our lives and in the grand scope of human development, as well as with the very state of the reality with which we live in. The Hunchback, one of the staples of the Free Worlds League throughout the Succession Wars, and a chassis which has been modified to fit countless roles, would begin to show its age in many ways in the Inner Sphere. It fought valiantly against the clan invasion, and against the word Blake, but had run into limitations of what it could be, in many respects. Kaliyama, the main producer of the Free Worlds League's Hunchbacks, as well as the Alpard Trading Company, would breathe new life into the design with their stunning upgrade, and the subject of this video, the Quasimodo. A medium mech weighing in at 55 tons, the Quasimodo makes no attempts to hide its origins, being openly stated as being an upgraded, new generation of Hunchback, created by Kaliyama Weapons Industries. The Hunchback is one of the most recognizable Battlemechs in the Battletech franchise, as well as one of the staples of the Succession Wars, as mentioned in the intro, and it is little wonder that this true full update of the design was put into consideration at Kaliyama. Their facilities on Kendall were damaged in the years of discord that the Inner Sphere had suffered throughout the Blakest era, and later the Dark Age. But the company was unwilling to give up on its secondary facilities, and would work with Alpard Trading Company to rebuild their worksite. This would take place, and after the work was done, this would be the primary production facility for their newest take on the HBK series. Or rather, their new QSM series. In 3140, the first of the QSM 3D Quasimodos walked off the assembly line, but outside of trade shows, its first true appearance in the battlefield would be on Solaris of all places, later in the year of 3140. This was a part of a clever marketing ploy by Kaliyama, showing off the full potential of their new, beastly medium mech. A pilot named Yuki Seisangi, or the Black Razor, had appeared and was a terror in the Solaris arenas due to his deployment of what was one of the most feared and powerful machines in the entirety of Battletech, a clan Hellstar. By the power of his warmachine alone, he had shredded every competitor he was coming across simply due to narrowing in on his target with clan RPPCs and firing continuously until his targets were destroyed. His opponents had little to say about it, unfortunately for them. Sarah Raveon, or Mortis, another Solaris combatant, was set to face the beast in her Caesar, but would be offered a Quasimodo in advance by Kaliyama, who knew that the experienced mech warrior could put it to its full use, and display not only its fighting abilities, but could allow the mech to display some of the most advanced technologies on board, including its impressive blue shield particle field dampener, which reduces all PPC damage to a Battlemech. The battle was a war between a faster, lighter Quasimodo and the heavier, deadlier Hellstar. In the end, the blue shield technologies, combined with speed and mobility, saw the day for Mortis, who tore into the rear armor of the Hellstar several times before the Black Razor was forced to surrender, despite having punished the Quasimodo early on. This tactic would be successful in displaying the full potential of the design, and played a role in acquiring favorable contracts for sales and services by Kaliyama. Throughout the Dark Age, this new generation of Hunchback would perform well in battles that raged across the new Free Worlds League and its neighbors. But it is a relatively new design, and has no variants as of yet. Success for Kaliyama, though, did not stop in the League, and there are some reports of procurements and deployments of this Battlemech within the Draconis Combine, another valuable market for deployment. Another important client appears to be the Duchy of Andurian, which is no longer a part of the Free Worlds League, and these would be deployed against the Regulan Fiefs prior to their reabsorption into the League proper. Durable, mobile, and a surprise for many opponents to see on the battlefield. The Quasimodo is an inventive design, and one which will still see many years of service going forward. Whether it can phase out the Hunchback over the coming decades, though, is another question altogether. Kaliyama replacing its aging ancestor over time would likely consider it a major windfall over the coming years. But there is a major obstacle to this. The HBK series has been entrenched within the Inner Sphere for centuries, and with so many variants, so many parts, and an enormous reputation, this might be a fight the Quasimodo and its manufacturers simply can't win. But it doesn't mean that Kaliyama's newest design, as it matures, acquires variants, and becomes hopefully more adopted by various clients across the Inner Sphere, won't make an attempt to supplant its aging ancestral design. Perhaps it will be reflective of a song from Earth's ancient past, and the first one now will later be last, for the times they are a-changing. The 55-ton QSM 3D Quasimodo does not pretend to be anything else but a significant modernization of the legendary Hunchback which it came from, and installs some of the newest technology available in order to deliver on the promise for the future of the HBK series in the Inner Sphere. A product of the Dark Age in 3140, it is even strong against a multitude of clan assault mechs and dedicated PPC platforms due to the advanced technologies on board. When it comes to its core components, involving the chassis and base functions, it possesses a standard internal structure and gyro. Its cockpit is also considered standard, but does possess the full head ejection feature in the case of the pilot needing to punch out. This ensures the pilot is more likely to survive in the event of a required ejection. For communications, it uses the Omicron 4002 networking channel, and for its targeting and tracking systems, it uses the TRSS Eagle Eye. Neither of these systems confer any bonuses. The Quasimodo utilizes a technology known as TSM, or Triple Strength Myomers. This allows it, when the mech is overheating by 9 or more, to increase its movement and physical attacks. It takes up several critical on board the mech, and allows the QSM 3D to potentially land lethal blows with kicks and punches in melee combat. As of the making of this video, the Quasimodo is not listed as having any advanced quirks that would impact it on the tabletop game. One thing which the original Hunchback lacked was mobility. It was designed for an era of warfare where medium mechs were very much mainline, and while its firepower was impressive, it could easily be outplayed due to its slower speed, and it could be easily knocked out due to rear armor attacks, despite its forward defenses. The Quasimodo in no way replicates this problem, and instead dedicates a huge portion of the mech's tonnage to mobility in all of its forms. To start with, it comes with an 8-ton Hermes 275 XL engine, which gives the Quasimodo a maximum speed of 86 km per hour, or 8 movement points in the tabletop game. It also possesses a maximum complement of jump jets, namely 5, which allows it to leap up to 150 meters, or 5 movement points in the tabletop game. Its TSM can also improve its speed as well, getting up to 9 movement points while running. This is by no means fast beyond reason, but it is agile enough to allow the Quasimodo to outmaneuver heavier assets for the most part, and ensures that faster, lighter mechs with potentially lethal payloads may have more trouble overmatching it to the point where it is helpless to their attempts to backstab it. This enhanced mobility also pairs well with its excellent protection and short-range firepower. The ability to keep cool is very important to the QSM, barring when it utilizes its TSM. When it engages in a normal firefight, it needs to be well cooled enough to not suffer targeting penalties. It installs double heat sinks, a standard for the Dark Age, and also installs 4 additional tons of them, giving it 14 double heat sinks overall. This means it can clear off 28 heat every turn, and allows for it to use its mostly energy-based weapons designs quite well. It does need to weapon cycle if it wants to stay cool, but only if it wants to stay cool. Funnily enough, using this reasonable cooling system and deliberately overheating it on the way towards its targets while lighting them up with a disco ball of death might actually be a great synergy for the Battlemech. The traditional Hunchback is known for its enormous single cannon. While there are a multitude of variants, all of which radically change its versatile chassis equipment, that is the most iconic configuration that most people turn towards. The Quasimodo does not follow this path, and instead seems to be much closer to the HBK-4P, sometimes affectionately called the Partyback, or the Swayback, which is a design that is filled with medium lasers and heatsinks. The primary armament of the QSM-3D is 3 medium variable speed pulse lasers located in its right torso. These are a close-range system, very much like the original medium laser, but they do variable damage. At long range, they do 5 damage, like a traditional medium laser. At medium range, each does 7, and at close range, each does a shocking 9 damage. These weapons are perfect for this mech, which wants to get as close as it can with enemy mechs, and collectively, they potentially hit for up to 27 damage. They also gain accuracy bonuses as well, but not consistently like traditional pulse lasers, and instead gain improved chances to hit the closer the mech gets to its desired target. Perfect for the Quasimodo, in other words. But this isn't all, really. Next up, it has twin ER medium lasers, giving it a long-range backup, and with one mounted in each arm. They can reach out and hit targets at long distances, or be paired with the variable speed pulse lasers in order to drive up the QSM's heat, deliberately to gain its TSM bonus. Finally, it has a head-mounted ER small laser, for when you need to add just a fraction of damage to a target. In totality, the Quasimodo offers an excellent array of firepower for its weight, and for its desired role on the battlefield. As it closes with its enemies, they will quickly find they are hit by harder and harder strikes from its right torso's lasers. And worst of all, as the QSM gets to melee, it will not only land potentially horrifying variable speed pulse laser blasts that shred their mechs, but it may also back that up with enormous physical attacks. It is a scrappy monster to behold that can devour enemy mechs even in the assault bracket, if they aren't careful and let it get too close to them. Where would the Quasimodo be without being able to protect itself? It's important to note that while mobility is important, the QSM-3D also needs to be able to take hits from enemy fire, and it definitely can. In the Dark Age, there are an assortment of new protective technologies, and the Quasimodo does use one of these breakthrough technologies to help protect it from some of the most dangerous weapons in all of Battletech. First, for its traditional physical defense, the Quasimodo possesses 11.5 tons of standard armored plating, giving it 184 points of armor overall. This is superb for a medium mech of its weight, even if it's not specialized protection, and it also combines very well with its jump jets and overall speed. What makes the Quasimodo more dangerous is it utilizes a blue shield particle field dampener. This technology is an extremely rare technology at this time, but it provides a level of shielding to incoming PPC attacks. All incoming PPC attacks, when the system is active, are reduced by half, rounded down. This means that the QSM is particularly effective against clan Battlemechs, who often rely on their extremely powerful clan ER-PPCs, which only do 7 damage to the Quasimodo instead of 15. In totality, the Quasimodo is well armored and can use its mobility to enhance its defenses yet furthermore. Better yet, against PPC-reliant mechs, it can shrug off some of the most dangerous attacks in the game as if they were nothing more than glorified medium lasers. It's exceptional for its weight in regards to its survivability, despite its XL engine. The Quasimodo is an extraordinary battlemech and brawler. When it closes with enemy targets, it can simply stick to them, especially heavier mechs, and overwhelm them with a combination of movement, firepower, and physical attacks, as well as its own excellent protection. It has endurance. It's straightforward to use, but requires the right mindset of a medium mech brawler to use to its fullest extent. It will descend upon its enemies with haste, and by the time it closes the gap, it will likely be too late for its enemies to survive for long. Heads will be punched in, torsos will be scorched, and legs will be shredded by high-powered, accurate pulse laser fire. Marauders, Hellstars, and an assortment of other heavies and assaults are mere fodder for this mech to devour. Those who underestimate this Battlemech as being some kind of substandard Hunchback, or something with only a few pulse lasers, may quickly find themselves in a desperate battle for survival, as they are assaulted by a relentless, mobile medium mech which can stick to them and doesn't go down, and won't let go until the other mech is annihilated, or is made for all purposes inoperable. When one sees this arrive on the battlefield, they should immediately make a plan to deal with it, because those who are unprepared are those who will be its victims. The Quasimodo is an excellent war machine, forged in the fires of the post-reunified Free Worlds League, rebuilding the Hunchback into a new kind of beast, and one which can devastate a multitude of mechs. It's accurate, it's ruthless, and it's effective. Just a reminder to mech warriors who field it, and with any element of battles in Battletech, an excellent tool does require skill to use. The Quasimodo is a fantastic tool. If your opponent fields heavier mechs and disregards it, make sure you use it well. The Free Worlds League, one can hope, will be using this war machine quite well itself, especially against its current slew of enemies. Because it doesn't matter if their opponents are Inner Sphere, Clanners, or Mercenaries. The Quasimodo can, and will, wear them down, tire them out, or punch the heads clean off anyone who is unprepared for it. As a final aside, and just letting everyone know, if you're looking to get the Quasimodo mech for yourself, they are available through Iron Wind Metals, and I will leave a link in the description of this video to that store page. If you want to get them, that is where to get them. But with that, thank you for joining me here today. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to the channel. I do updates very frequently, and you'll be happy with the content, I think. Also, a huge thank you to all the YouTube members for this channel. When you hit the join button and become a member, you take an extra step in supporting the content on this channel, and I can't thank you enough. Because this content really is only possible because of viewers like you. And with that, I will catch all of you in the comment section below.